So, hey, Carl, I read something the other day that I absolutely love. Can I tell you what it was?
Tell me.
Okay. So, I'd rather have a quick no than a long maybe.
Mm.
I've heard you say to me too, there's no money in the maybes.
Yeah, it's like I either want a yes or a no. There's no money in the
Yeah.
maybes. But I think I like your version better.
I had me stop and think for a few minutes, as I read it, I was like, yeah, that's so right. And you know what it really had me thinking about too? I
Tell
know
me.
I've heard you talk about um specifically with real estate agents when you're reaching out and you're setting up meetings and you're following up, and sometimes it's a bit of a longer play. You're leaving a few messages to get a hold of them, or you've met with them and now you're following up and you're following up and you're following up and maybe not hearing anything right away. I always think it's eye opening when you share what your average conversion is post coffee or post meeting.
Yeah, so my number, which is fairly typical,
Hmm.
surprisingly, is 16%. And what that means is of the agents that I meet with, whether it's Zoom or a phone call, 16% ends up sending referrals, which means that 84% don't. Right. And I have found, Kristen, I've shared this here before, that number really hasn't changed over the years because you would think I've been doing this for, I don't know what, 25 years, something like that, a little over 25 years,
Yeah.
coming up on 26 years. And literally, been involved with or gotten paid on literally tens of thousands of loans at this point in my career, like a lot, like a whole lot. Certainly one of the highest in the industry. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to be so bold to say but certainly a
Well,
top.
I consider you, I always refer to you as the Don of mortgage. So
Yeah. Well, but I'm a nice one. I'm a nice, but
yeah,
anyway.
very nice. Yes,
So
yes.
anyway, and I hope this comes across. I'm not trying to sound braggadocious, but the point that I'm trying to give in a humble way is that even doing that, even with all this vast resources, hanging around with some of the smartest people, not some of the smartest people in the industry, literally knowing almost everybody that's like a who's who kind of thing, and spending time and learning from them, right?
Right.
The Barry Habibs, the Dave Savage, just I mean the list just the Tim Brahim, just the all the who's who, Sue Woodard, all the who's who's, all the people that have been doing this for years and years and decades, many longer than myself. You would think that learning from all these great masters that I would have increased my conversion rate, but it hasn't. The only way I make more money, Chris, is I get a faster yes or I get a faster no. So I just simply ask more people. The only way I make more money than most is because I asked for more yeses or get more nos by far than most people. Because I'm just sitting here thinking as you're talking about this, and we did no prep on this whatsoever, but I'm just sitting here thinking out
Zero.
loud. A no is a win. So loan officers are so like, gosh, I don't want to ask because I
Because I
might get
might
a
get a
no.
no. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I was
see,
thinking the same thing.
a no is a win because when I get a no, it gives me back my time,
Yep.
right? It lets me move on to the next opportunity, which is a real one,
Yep.
instead of chasing a ghost, kind of thing. And because the danger of a long maybe, I guess, kind of in that same realm, is the old well, I'm thinking about it kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a slow death to your pipeline,
Yeah.
right? And oftentimes, the slow no, they're going to say no, and they want to say no, but they don't because they feel guilty, and so they'll just avoid making that decision, which drags it along, which is keeping me from that next opportunity that's I got a 16% chance of it being a yes. And
And let me ask you this, Carl, is this why it's so important to kind of be tracking how many times you're asking for business? Because you do have to have a hard cutoff at some point, or you have to say, okay, I'm going to stop right now, but maybe I'll revisit that later.
I don't know that you need to track it. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Which sounds weird because I'm a tracking fiend, and actually, just being perfectly transparent, on the mortgage side, I've got Allison and Madonna that are just amazing at tracking. I'm sure they have people that help them do it. So we track everything, and
Yeah.
then on the training side, Diane is just a freak of nature. Like she's just a pit bull with a ham bone when it comes to data, right? But honestly, I think I've tracked it for you because an interesting thing about this, Kristen, is that 16% number.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common number. Like it's It's like in mathematics, the number pi 3.14 pops up in all these formulas. And I'm sure some people know why. I don't know why. So I've
Yeah.
got a master's in chemistry and I never figured out why that number keeps popping up everywhere. And I find this 16% number is the same thing. It just pops up everywhere. That if I randomly call a loan officer in Kansas that's
Hmm.
only been in the business for a year, I can predict what his or her number is going to be when they prospect to real estate agents. It's going to be about 16%. And
Hmm.
if I call a great like Sarah Cox or Sue Meitner or Steve Kiles, like I call any of these superstar greats, about 16%. And it's just weird how that same number keeps popping up over and over. So I would say, hey, we've done the tracking for you. The more people you ask, the bigger your 16% number is, because the 16% is not a finite number. It's a piece of a pie. How big is your pie? Is it
Right.
is it an easy bake oven pie, or is it a raised pizza in New York City, you know 36-foot pie that you're cutting off of? So I think the real question that bears us talking about is how to speed up the yes or the no. Like how do I speed that up? Because I know that I want a yes or no. There's no money in the maybes, and a slow no is a kiss of death. So how do I speed that up? And so I think that's a real question. So how do we do that? How do we speed up the yes or the no?
I think we have to work on our ask, right? Is that
That's
what you're
it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think you just ask directly.
It's either, can I count on you for your next referral, or I can or I can't.
That's it. That
Yeah.
it's just that
I'm
simple.
so
It's just,
scared. We're so scared to get that no.
well, you're going to get the no, and in my case, 87% of the time. So our
84.
84% of the time. Hey there. Hey, if you're loving the tips so far, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down there and then tap the little bell so that you never miss out on more free cool tips coming your way. Also, I would love to hear from you. Drop a comment beneath there. Let me know what you think or tell me what you'd like to hear next. So I do this thing when I go to when people are kind enough to invite me to the live events uh, uh, that they host, and they want somebody to talk about, share something. I do this really interesting thing, and let's say the room has, and I'm just going to use easy math, 100 people in it, right? It's even more impactful when you have like 800 or 1,000 and you do this, but let's just say there's 100 people, and so I'll count off 16 people in the
I've
audience.
seen you do this. I
Yeah,
love
oh,
it.
it's
Yep.
it's 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 fascinating. So I'll count off 16 people. I go, all right, your script is yes.
Hmm.
And I look at everybody, the other 84 people in the room, your script is no. And then I go into character and I say, hey, can I count on you for that next referral? Point to group one. And you hear this small collective voice says, the 16% that's going to say yes. And I said, hey, can I count on you for that next referral? That small collective voice of 16 people will say yes. And you hear just kind of a yes, with 16 people, but it's not real loud. And then I go to the group two, which is the no group. Can I count on you for that next referral? And you have 84 people say no, that the room reverberates. It's like I feel like I'm at a stadium. Uh, and even having done that, and I know it's just a script that we're playing, but even with that, and even though I know they don't really mean it, they're just following a script. When Carl White is up on that stage and I hear this whole room going, no, my brain immediately goes to you suck, you're no good. And it's
Mhm.
just a script that we're playing. And it still doesn't feel good, right? It still kind of weirds me out a little bit. But I know that that's just the numbers and that's how it works. And we just have to speed it up. And I think another something else that I do is like when I'm going for the yes or no, I give people an easy way to bow out without awkwardness.
What does that look like?
Again, I want a quick yes or a quick no.
Yeah.
And I'll say, hey, Kristen, I mean, whether we do this or not, hey, it's totally cool. I understand it. We'll still see each other at the title company from time to time. You being the listing agent, you being real busy, me being a loan officer. I'm real busy. I got a lot of business with buyers. I'm sure we'll see each other. Either way, it's totally cool. No weirdness whatsoever. But can I count on you? And so I give them. I do. I don't believe in boxing somebody in the corner and being awkward, because then they'll say yes but mean no,
Yeah,
and I'm
you give
still
them an
going
exit
after
door.
them, and it's really a no. and it's back to that slow no, but now it's a slow no by deception
Hmm.
instead of me knowing it and being aware of it. So
Such a good conversation.
which is why, by the way, like in our Thor's hammer training, we teach loan officers to go after to contact the real estate agents 12 times.
Hmm.
And the
Yep.
reason why we do that is it's critical that you have a deadline or a decision window in your follow-ups. So it's like, well, when do I stop after 3 times, 4 times,
That's what I meant
5 years?
when I said tracking earlier. That's what I was talking about. Having that hard cutoff to
Mm.
say, so we just don't keep chasing and chasing and chasing, and spending a bunch of time there.
Yeah, I like that. I
Gotcha.
think as we kind of wrap this up here, I think the important thing is to understand that sales is a sorting game, not a convincing game.
Mm,
So I'm not in business to convince of anybody of anything, right? For me, that's not my game. So my game is to sort the yeses from the nos, and the faster I can do that, the better I am. Now I do believe in rebuttals, but rebuttals is what I call. I'm not looking to convince you, Kristen. I'm looking to
right.
clarify either my position or, frankly, clarify the situation that you're in. And maybe you don't know that because like if you're in a if you and I are on the road traveling somewhere and you're on the second floor and I check into the first floor and I'm out for my evening walk and I see smoke coming from the building, I'm gonna come in, I bang on your window and let's say you don't know me, right? I bang on your window and I said, and you look out and you see big old hairy guy like me and you go away, leave me alone. I'm not gonna go away and leave you alone because you get burned. And so I do believe in clarifying your situation. Hey, lady, the hotel's on fire. You need to get out instead of, well, I don't want to weird her out or anything, and maybe that's a bad example, but I do believe in clarifying my situation. And if I can help you, I believe in clarifying the situation of how I can help you. But it's not convincing you to a yes. It's just giving you information that you may not have otherwise had. And to me, that's
Right.
what the rebuttals are about. And
Yeah. So a maybe isn't necessarily a no. It might mean I need more information to
That
make a
that's exact
decision. Like I'm
that's exactly right. So again, I'm
I
not going
don't
to
have all
convince
the
you. I'm going to
yeah.
clarify to you. So it's a big difference.
Hey, who
So
was it? I heard the top producer. I want to say it was Adam Crosley, but maybe not. He was saying he had army men. He kept army men on his windowsill, and every time he would get a no, he'd knock one down. And if he saw that windowsill with all his army men standing at the end of the day, he knew he didn't ask enough people for business.
or he knows that the yes is coming.
Yeah, or the
As long
yes.
as he's asking, of course, as long
Yeah.
as he's asking. And I think, I think the other thing is when I found out, like, when you're okay with hearing a no, I think you show up more confidently and frankly less needy and less desperate. Like, I'm not
Oh yeah.
desperate.
Mhm.
I'll have a sense of urgency about me, but it's not a desperation. And
Mhm.
because I'm okay with hearing no, because I know that I'm going to hear it 84% of the time, right? That's just how it works. And I think when you're okay with a no, I think, like, and you have that confidence is magnetic. And I think the need, the needisness, is that a word? The needisness?
It is today.
It is that I think that repels,
Hmm.
and so when you have this confidence, and confidence doesn't come with I always get a yes. Confidence is I'm okay with a no because I ask enough people that if I get 84% no's, I still have a multi-million dollar mortgage business because I'm just simply asking more people. But I think the key to all this is knowing how to have those conversations, what to say, who do I talk to, and how do you structure that phone call to ask for the yes. And so that's something that you help us with, Kristen. If somebody wants to learn how to craft these conversations and do
Hmm.
some schemery on how to do all this and want to scheme with you, what's the best way to do that?
Um, uh, a
So,
strategy call.
yeah. So what's that
Yeah.
website? Is it Get More Loans? I think it's Get More.
Getmoreloans.com. Yeah.
Yeah, getmoreloans.com. Always confused. That's it. That might be one that Frank shows up on the video, but
Uh-oh. You might
but
get
but
Frank, but
but
we'll
but
help
it
you
goes the
out
same
either way.
calendar.
Yeah,
it goes
yeah.
same. It goes to Kristen's calendar. So getmoreloans.com. Getmoreloans.com. Great topic, Kristen. I appreciate you, my friend.
I appreciate you too. Thanks, Carl.